Now, this is a study about physical discipline. Um, there's a 16-week course, The Victorious Christian Life, where each week you go through a gospel principle, you memorize scriptures, you dedicate yourself to God, and this week is for physical discipline. The devotion reads as follows. It says, physical discipline. Coming out of addiction, we begin to realize how beat up we really are. Truthfully speaking, we have been slowly and steadily poisoning ourselves with substances that were not intended to be used in the quantity and capacity in which we were using them. And to that fact, that with our priorities askew, we have blatantly neglected our physical well-being. We might even concur with the declaration, if I knew that I would have been around this long, I would have taken better care of myself. Now it seems that we are called to shift completely to the other end of the spectrum and present our bodies as a living sacrifice. The scripture in Romans reads, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. That might sound reasonable to some, but to us it sounds absolutely absurd. The practical way to accomplish this is spoken to us in Romans, when Paul says, therefore do not let sin reign in your mortal body, that you should obey it in its lusts. And do not present your members as instruments of unrighteousness to sin, but present yourselves to God as being alive from the dead, and your members as instruments of righteousness to God. And to all of that, the fact that without the option of anesthetizing ourselves to feel good, we must pursue alternative ways of doing so. We seem so quick to go to the medicine cabinet for a solution because we live in a culture that has strongly influenced us to do so as a first resort. Although we accept the fact that God chooses to heal through physicians at times, often he isn't our first consideration. He does heal through prayer today, but his method for doing so varies immensely. While physical discipline becomes a priority, our motivation must be to glorify God and not ourselves. Joining a gym may be a plausible option for some, but for others, it could be a snare that feeds our vanity. In the Psalms, we hear the man of God making this request. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my anxieties, and see if there is any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Now, there's different ways of taking care of ourselves physically, of having this physical discipline. There's nutrition, exercise, scheduled rest, restful sleep, and healing. And regarding nutrition, it's God's provision is good and it's meant to be enjoyed. What we eat affects our mental well-being, and we're instructed to exercise self-discipline in things that we eat. And with exercise, physical exercise is essential for good health. Physical discipline requires self-discipline. And we must do all things with the proper motivation. Regarding scheduled rest, rest allows our bodies to heal and replenish themselves. Observation of the Lord's day enables us to consider God. And regular scheduled rest requires self-discipline and routine. And restful sleep. Sleep is a spiritual exercise. Sleep is affected by proper mental consideration. Considering the things that help us relax at night, that help me get restful sleep is important. And sleep is affected directly by proper nutrition. And then healing. God needs to be our first resource for healing. God can and does still heal. We must use the means that God directs us to become well. And we will all be completely healed when we go back to heaven.